I do airfield ops at Denver, and for the first 5 years, we did ramp control, and after that, we're always on with grounder towers. So
Okay. How was that experience for you?
it's interesting, and it's one of the positions.
All right, guys, good evening. Welcome aboard. It is time for another virtual flight deck here. And while the main screen is still up, haven't put the cameras up, guys, yet. Want to welcome everybody in. Normally, Mickey Mike, CST Gaming, OWLZZFS. And now, Charlie 31 and myself are here. So we're going to go ahead and change over to monitor one left. And let me bring the music down and bring you guys up. Here we are, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Friday night at the time of this recording. It is 3/13, March 13th. With us live and in living color, I am so glad to welcome my good buddy Charlie 31 here up there in the upper left-hand side. And then down in the bottom right now is my good buddy EJ Davis. EJ, as always, I'm going to let you tell everybody who you are with and what you do and all of that good stuff. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you tonight.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Yes, working with the VATSIM team here. Particularly, I've worked with the Caribbean team as part of their division leadership, and then also working with our larger part of VATSIM with the Canada, America, United States, and South America team on the larger how can we help pilots, how can we help controllers. So very, very much connected with the Americas of the VATSIM portion.
Right, right. Very good. Well, it's good to have you here tonight. Really appreciate you being able to stop in and fill in. And also here now, I've got a small problem going on here. Let's see. How do we get back? How do I get back to the screen of three of us there? Yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and bring up my good buddy Charlie 31. Charlie 31, hello, Captain. Good to see you tonight. And hope everything's going well in your world. How are things out at the airport these days, and what's happening, my friend?
Things are going good over here, Jack. The airport's running itself for the most part. We're suffering through no snow winter. So, yeah, that snowstorm we had the other day with 8 inches, I was fortunate to be off and not on call. So, got to enjoy snow for the first time in probably like 6 years without having to worry about going in.
Isn't enjoying snow a contradiction in terms?
Yeah.
Like military intelligence and drive-through parking at McDonald's. I don't
know. Exactly.
But anyway, let's see. I cannot remember how to get us back to the three view. I clicked on EJ. How do I get us back in? Oh, there we go. All right, that works. Now that'll work for us. All right, I'll just remember to do that next time. Well, anyway, we're waiting on Mickey Mike. He should show up just about any time. CST Gaming, I want to say hello to my good buddy Graham in Scotland. Graham is on board. Graham is always on board, and Graham sure appreciated tonight. We want to talk about flight simulation, why we love it, some of the new features that are going on. Let me raise my camera up here just a little bit. I've got kind of a stand-up board here, so we'll get that all squared away as well. But let's talk about flight simulation tonight, guys. Why we love it, some of the new features. Craig, I don't know if you and EJ noticed, but the new game driver for the NVIDIA card was just released. The new one, 595.79, actually released here 3 days ago. Have you guys upgraded your NVIDIA cards or anything with that? Now, let me ask you a question. This leads us into a bit of a discussion. You shook your head no, Charlie 31. Tell me.
No.
Tell me why. Tell me what you think about that.
So obviously with my streaming on Thursday nights with the Thursday Night Flying Club, I try not to do an upgrade right around Thursday. So I might drop over and do it tomorrow. And we kind of touched on it in the last virtual flight deck with Miggity Mike and some of the updates, like going to betas. Um, it's just it's one of those things. Rather than having introducing a lot of problems before I'm trying to have some fun,
Oh yeah.
I wait for it to sort of settle down, look at it, see what it does, see what it doesn't do. I'm a little particular because I'm in VR, and that can be tough.
Yep, absolutely. I know that is something that you have to think about using the VR like you do like that.
Yep.
EJ, how about you? The new video version is out. How do you feel about updating? And Craig, I'll tell you too. I'm the same way. I don't go make changes at radio stations on Friday. I never do that because it'll blow up over the weekend, undoubtedly. EJ, how about you? What do you think?
I think that's the same kind of thought process as yourself, because I enjoy being able to use my technology and I want my technology to work, and I am always cautious about the newest update. We've seen PMDG over the last few days has given some updates to some of their planes, but even though they give the update now button, sometimes I hesitate to click on it for that same reason. I want to just let everybody else figure out, is this actually working? And especially with NVIDIA upgrades, I found that like they are looking at the latest and the greatest of the gaming world, and they're optimizing for these games the most explored right now. We've had a lot of different man, I forget the name of that game that's going on right now.
Battlefield.
Battlefield is one of them. There's another pretty common game that's going on right now that just had a major new release, and I'm sure that NVIDIA is like trying to figure out how can we get our game to work perfectly with this. I don't think they have flight sim in mind as they're doing these updates, so I'm very cautious about updating as it relates to working with a flight sim.
You know, let's talk about that just a little bit, because when they do these updates, and you say they're optimizing them for maybe some other games and stuff. When you do an update, do you, for instance, move your community folder, make it like community.old, then do the update, and then bring everything back, because you know that as it's doing that update, it can cause some things to crash. What do you think?
What do you think, Charlie?
Well, so for me, it pisses me off because I'm running the beta on Flight Sim 2024. It seems to do a lot better managing VR for me. But what pisses me off is when Microsoft, you all of a sudden you start it and boom, and that's about the only time I would do the renaming of the community folder is if I knew an update was coming down the pipe. And a little bit's on me for not paying attention and reading release notes or up and coming stuff. But a lot of times I don't have a whole lot of extra time, so I just hop into the flight sim and it says, "Oh, has to be updated," and then you have to go through and you're just like, "Oh, for crying out loud!" So then I revert and I go back, and that's just Microsoft. As far as the drivers go, I'll tell you, and EJ, you probably see him a lot, is that I trust Island Sim Pilot. He gets in there, he does a lot of digging around in there, kind of like a dentist getting NVIDIA drivers, trying to flush out any of the bad parts. He's trusted by me because he does have a lot of explanation, but he also does VR as well. So I tie in with him, and I kind of listen to what he has to say about a driver once they release it. The other time, and with that, everything goes along with it. Getting rid of the DX cache, GL cache, redoing your index CCC, doing all the other fun stuff that you do when you change drivers. So but then you got to go back into Microsoft and make sure the DLSS is set to what it was before, all the other fun gizmos and gadgets that go along with it. So as far as an NVIDIA driver, I generally wait for those to get baked in a little bit before I drop on it. Right now, well, the DLSS has been kind of a driver with, because they've come a long way with it. It used to be real blurry in VR when the altimeter would go up or the needles would kind of ghost around, and now it's a lot clearer. It's a lot better, especially in VR. So I might be 1 or 2 drivers behind. I'm not like I was. I used to be stuck at like 5.81 or something like that forever. I didn't do anything. I was like, nope, 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 because it was just they were always introducing too much stuff.
You know,
So
yeah. Go ahead, EJ. Yeah.
I was going to say this is why I wanted Charlie to go first, because I had a feeling we were on the same page. The truth is, I want to have other people test these things out, and we've had great people in the field that wanted to work with understanding how these drivers have changed things. And I think that to Charlie's point, we haven't seen that anything major has needed to be adjusted. So I have not seen any major shifts. I have gone ahead and done the update. I had a crash immediately after on Flight Sim, but that was just because I just want to see what happened before I restarted the computer. But after I did a usual restart after updating the drivers, everything was fine. But I also didn't notice much of a change. The performance that I get out of my drivers is very good. And I feel like the updates that we've had will continue to benefit some of the newer games. But I think on the Flight Sim side, we haven't seen many new changes to 2024.
Nope. Yeah. And with the addition of the DLSS, I believe we're at 4.5 now, and some of the other things that they've done with that, it's great. And I'll be honest with you, I am glad that I updated to the Sim Update 5 beta. And they also had another fix on it come out here just recently. I tell you, I had a problem.
Yep.
You know, Charlie, I told you about this. I could not get the throttles in the CRJ only. In the Aerosoft CRJ, I could not get the throttles to, basically to stay where I put them. They were jerking back and forth and would always, lock down in the basically the off position, and they came out with a new update last weekend, and it made the CRJ throttles work, and I could actually start flying it again. That's a good thing. But nowadays, with all these new drivers coming out and all these new updates, I think I agree with both of you. We've got to be careful. And when we get one that works, we might want to sit there for a while. Had the same thing happened with the SimApp Pro. They did a couple of updates with SimApp Pro, and then things stopped working. They just weren't working well or weren't working at all. And I actually sent an email to them, and I wish I could remember what the particular problem was. I believe it was with my FMC, the FMC that you see back here. And they immediately, next day, had a fix in for that in an update that they put out. Now, of course, they've done several since then. And I remember another SimApp Pro update coming up, and it made something not work well. But a couple of days later, they had a fix for that. So you're right. We got to balance and watch out for that. What you guys have any more opinions and thoughts on that? Go ahead.
Well, the other thing that I really appreciate, the actual the ability to downgrade has become a lot easier with NVIDIA drivers. In the past, you used to have to go through DDU, all the other fun chaos that goes along with that. It's a lot easier either through the app or through NVIDIA Control Panel to revert back to the previous display driver. So I think they understood that, people are doing some of this stuff, and let's try and make it a little easier to roll back or select your driver if it works for you. So
I haven't had to do that yet. And when I do, guess who I'm calling?
EJ.
Well, I tried. Oh, all right, guys.
Yeah.
Well, very good. EJ, I was not aware that PMDG had done some updates. Do you have any further thoughts on that? I did not know that.
I just got a minor update on my 737. I'm actually not sure what they changed in it. But I've seen that the developers as a whole, they're looking at these minor fixes and tweaks that they can make. Everybody is more excited for what the future holds. I think there's a few planes that we, I'll kind of turn this into maybe a question as to maybe what everybody else might have been looking forward to. And I think you got some thoughts there, Charlie. I saw you raise your hand.
Oh, no, I'm just working with my camera.
Yeah.
You're working with your camera.
You got a camera tracking you there, don't you?
Yeah, it's if I go like this, then I can move around, but it gets a little annoying, so I have to turn it off.
Okay. I thought you were raising your hand saying, I got something to say.
Well, I do this to my camera, but it doesn't do anything, so it just sits there. Let's talk about this then. EJ, tell us a little bit about your role with VATSIM for those who may be new, maybe haven't checked in, and tell us what you do and your function and all of that good stuff with VATSIM.
Sure. So working with VATSIM, my role is particularly with the Caribbean team, primarily supporting the training of controllers and the support of how we can gain and work with traffic in the Caribbean. I also have a more standard function with the Americas, and understanding how we can help our Canada team, our United States team, our Latin America team, and our South America team work on these same problems. The truth is that VATSIM is a community that wants a lot of different participants. We want a lot of controllers. We want a lot of pilots. But we also want everybody to understand that it's a professional environment, and we want to have the best possible controller experience, but we want to have the best possible pilot experience as well. So where can we find that balance? People that are willing to learn and have a educational experience on VATSIM that gives our controllers the best experience.
What if somebody wants to become a controller? What are some of the prerequisites and requirements for that?
Yeah, so if you're wanting to become a controller on VATSIM, we'd encourage you to go to vatsim.net and apply to be a controller. I think some of the first things that you'll want to have in mind are where you find your home as a controller. Generally we would suggest that it's where you live or where you feel that you're personally connected to. I live in the northeastern United States, but my primary controller responsibility is in the Caribbean because that's where my family is from, and I have found that to be a place that I've decided to connect with and a place that needed that type of support. And truly in VATSIM, we've got that differentiation of people who really wanted to help their VAT USA community, their VATSIM United States community, and we've gotten those folks who really want to support the Caribbean or elsewhere where their family is originally from. We encourage you to check out our individual communities, VATSIM Caribbean, VATSIM Latin America, VATSIM South America, and get some more information about supporting those teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Charlie and I were, Charlie 31 and I were talking about this as we were flying in Europe, wherever it was. I think we were flying from England down to Lisbon one evening. And we had done another flight prior to that. And, I wonder, EJ, are there a lot of, American guys that are participating in VATSIM and being a controller that, are more prone to want to control, domestic United States, domestic North America, whatever the case may be? Because I was a little disappointed because we had no controllers over there for 2 or 3 nights of flying. What do you see as the balance between that? Are there just a bunch of people over there that want to do that, and it's the middle of the night for them, and they're not up, or can anybody control anywhere, given the desire to do so?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. Actually, unknowingly, you have struck at the very core of VATSIM versus their rival community, a community named as IVAO.
Yep.
And the idea is that with VATSIM, your training is specific to where you are. IVAO is more of, you get a center rating in California, you've got the center rating in Spain, you've got it in London. The way that VATSIM has approached it is that we want to make sure that you have the understanding of the local airspace. And we have ranking systems to help you understand. For instance, if you were traveling from, let's say, London to the Caribbean, you have those center airspaces in between. You have that landing airspace and your departing airspace. Every single one of those controllers should have primary understanding of the airspace that they are controlling on VATSIM. They don't just have the center understanding, the en route perspective. They have the ground perspective. However, we've worked at how can we make a compromise here and make it so that it's easier for a controller to support all of those airspaces in between. And the way that we've looked at that is, say a controller wants to be a part of the experience from London to the Caribbean, they can more easily request it and more easily be a part of that team, but they have to make that known in advance of a flight. It's not a 24-hour process. They do have to work with those teams ahead of time, and at least understand the basic perspectives. And the reason for that is not because we want to be overly restrictive, but we're trying to be realistic, and the understanding of London has very different communication and very different way of phrasing things than the Americas, and very different way of phrasing things than the Caribbean teams. And we want to have that reality. And so if you were to be immediately granted that you understand how to control in London, which is honestly probably the most complicated airspace in VATSIM, and having to deal with so many different planes and things that are going on, you can handle the traffic in the Caribbean. You're just phraseology, the things that you would define as your altimeter settings, it's just very different. And we want to make sure that if that same controller came over, they would know how to speak to somebody the way that a Caribbean controller in real life would speak to that pilot.
Okay, so my next question was going to be, would it be possible for, say, someone like myself to, be a controller for Denver or for the southern Arizona area, or, Middle Earth? I can't think. Middle Earth.
Wow, what's up, Hobbit?
like I said, it's been a tough few months, guys. I used to be a professional pronunciator. Don't try this at home. The thing is can you specialize, as it were, if you learned enough in certain areas? Graham said in the chat, controllers are almost non-existent over this side of the world at nights, and he's in Scotland. So hey Graham, maybe there's some room for you there as a controller up in that neck of the woods. But yeah, EJ, what about that?
Graham, I would say that is exactly what you would expect until you get to one of those fields where that's not the case. There is a gentleman who is part of the Boston RTEC, the Boston team, the Boston Center team, and he is from London. And I promise you, this guy enjoy signing in at 2 o'clock in the morning for Boston, but for him that's 7 a.m. And
Yeah.
so
Yep.
he's from London, signs in at 7 a.m. and you can tell immediately because he's got his British accent. This is a Boston controller. You can do that. You just have to learn the procedures.
Right.
You have to agree to understand what VAT USA's procedures are, and he goes through that, and then you can do that. And the same thing for London. I try to sneak in sometimes, trying to get under the radar as I land and not have to deal with the craziness of London traffic. So I'll come at there at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I'll get an American controller at 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's more about just making sure that you understand the procedures. Nobody cares about the time that you log on. It's just more frequently you would have a London controller at a usual London time.
Yeah.
Well, and Jack, I will also say is that we Bravo 737 and I took part in World Flight this year, and there was definitely a cadre of people that worked with each of the individual regions that we went to and learned their airspace and their requirements to a certain extent. But it was a cadre of controllers, local and sort of the Australian American group that were putting on World Flight, that were able to, handle all of that traffic, which was quite the feat because you were looking at 24/7 for a whole week, and just having that many controllers available and online and doing the business was amazing. So
Yeah, I bet it was. And speaking to that, you're a former pilot. So you get and understand a lot of the jargon and are used to hearing it. Of course, you have all those comm radios going in your truck every night. I don't know how you listen to those 5 or 6 things at once. I have trouble
ADD.
with 2. Yeah, I bet it's not. All right, guys. Well, one other thing EJ had mentioned before we started, and Charlie 31 once again with us tonight. EJ Davis from the VATSIM group. Mike, I'm really surprised Mike is not here. He's usually pretty gung ho for these. He must have had something come up. I know Al's is busy tonight, and CST said that he would stop in. So we'll keep it going here. I got a few questions, and if you guys think of something to talk about, Craig, talk to me a little bit about VR. I want to know. I fly with a 34-inch screen in front of me, and I do everything virtually there just on the one screen, with the exception of when I'm live streaming, and then I got 4 or 5 other monitors going here with other stuff going on as well. But tell me about VR. Tell me about the experience that you have with that, how it's come about and how it's grown, and what are your opinions and thoughts? Obviously, you love it, but tell us a little bit about VR this evening.
Well, I mean, I'm going to come back to you, EJ. I've got some questions about the VATSIM and VAT Caribbean, and so I'll come back to you here in a minute. But as far as VR goes, I started with just a standard HP Reverb G2, and that it was cheap. I got it secondhand from a friend, a guy I work with, and he turned around and he sent it in for repairs, and they ended up sending it straight back to me because he sold it to me and just put my address in as a return address. And so I was like, oh, that's great. Let's give this a try. And I put you under the headset when you were here, Jack. But when I first put that headset on and I sat in a flight deck, I of course I hopped in the biggest plane I had, and that was the 787 in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I was like, man, being able to look around and see all the dials and not having to worry about hitting 3, 1, 2, 8, 7 on my keyboard, whatever hotkeys I had set up, was really just it was inspiring. Just, this is what flying's about. And so back to my flying days, that's what you did. You were constantly doing your scan, you're building your T, you're making sure everything's going, as well as looking out. And when you're doing that with the keyboard, it can kind of get a little bit clunky. I tried the track IR for a little while, and that worked okay. And you have the thing coming off the side of your head or your hat or whatever, and it worked all right when you're looking around. But when you tried to look on an overhead or something like that, it became a little difficult to sort of track that. And there were little things, and I was like, yeah, it's all right, it's okay. I think I ended up shipping that off to Bravo 737. Um, but then once I got into the VR, it was okay. It was nice being in that big flight deck, big 787 flight deck, lots of room, places to look around. But what really gets you into VR is hopping into a Cessna 172, because that's where being able to look out and under the wing or around the strut, to see your runway, to see your ground reference, doing true VR flying, staying low, looking around, as well as keeping your scan going, using your peripherals because you don't lose that. It was invaluable.
Yeah.
And I've always had a fascination with helicopters, and I don't know how some of these people that don't have VR fly helicopters in Microsoft Flight Simulator, because having that ground reference or having that peripheral vision of where you're at is it's amazing. It makes flying a helicopter more like flying a helicopter, less like flying a screen.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I'm so sorry. Certainly did not mean to not let you ask questions of EJ, and he came up with another
No.
interesting topic. Why don't you go ahead and dive into that? We'll touch back on that. I'm trying to get something to work over here, so let me see if I can get you and EJ back in the screen together here. I'm having problems with,
No worries.
with Discord. So why don't you guys
EJ,
go ahead?
what are you doing to drive? What are you guys doing to drive more pilots down to the Caribbean, to Latin America, to South America? Do you have like, are you doing a lot of events? Are you doing welcome things? Or I mean, everyone, I hop on, I use VATScope app on my phone, and I see like the different events going on in like Argentina, or flying around Mexico City, and some of those. Are you doing anything in particular to sort of drive pilots to the Caribbean?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think that your initial working with our teams is a bit of the process that we're very curious to find out, like how did you engage with us and who did you actually reach out to, and understanding your process, because it helps us understand how we are trying to do this on our end. We want as many people to be a part of the VATSIM community as possible. And there's a big asterisk right here.
Yeah.
We also want people to be very familiar with how to fly a plane. And we want people to be very familiar with how to control aircraft correctly. So there's a very internal, I don't want to say struggle, but an internal communication that's going on about how do we make sure that we're able to generate the best experience for everybody. Because if we invite everybody to be pilots here, and honestly, that is the way that VATSIM set up. It's kind of one of the founding principles of VATSIM, is to have these people that are interested in community, interested in either the controller experience or the pilot's experience, be a part of this community. The other understanding is we want you to not just be joining with no understanding and just saying, hey, from here I'm going to join and I'm going to learn everything. Okay. The idea is that we would then say, great, before you get on our network, let's have you understand the basic instructions, and let's have you go through the basic understanding of filing flight plans, of understanding what a flight plan is, of what understanding squawking mode Charlie is, what does it mean to have this and this happen that the controller will expect you to have on day one. So to date, my role has been to kind of balance that. let's get new people on who are excited about being a part of the VATSIM community, but also let's make sure that they have an understanding of how to be a part of the community. How can you be a good contributor as a pilot or as a controller? And that has led to a balance where we have folks like yourself or any individuals who really understand how to fly a plane in real life, who come in and say there's things about VATSIM that I am not familiar with, and I just need to get caught up on this. And we want to make that a different experience than somebody who's like, I'm 7 years old and I don't
Yeah.
know
Right.
anything about it. We want to make that different. Pilots
Yep.
who have real world experience fitting into VATSIM is just kind of learning the differences of, you know, the technology of it, versus a 7-year-old needs to understand. First of all, I think our requirement is like 16 or 18 now, I forget.
Yep.
And then after that, you need to understand the basics of flying a plane that a new pilot, rather a experienced pilot knows, and he just needs to understand how to do it in VATSIM.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, it brings up, I've had maybe 3 or 4 people. They were younger folks. They were members of my community on YouTube, and I've gone through with them and I've kind of mentored them along the way. And I will say that of all the VATSIM controllers that I've experienced, I don't know that I've ever had one negative comment to say about any of them. But
Oh, fantastic.
in doing a lot of work with some folks that are younger and understanding they're just getting involved in this hobby into flying. It might be something they're looking to do as a career into a real pilot. I have gone on and I've mentored some. Is VATSIM looking at doing sort of a mentorship thing for people? And I've got some other points that we could bring up. But has VATSIM sort of look to sort of endorse a bunch of pilots or outside VATSIM folks that are sort of credentialed as, hey, meet up with this guy, or this directory, you can call these folks or hit these folks up on YouTube, Discord, and set up like a flight, and they can explain some of the nuances of it while in a live environment, say in the middle of Nowhereville, Iowa, with a controller that you just send a text message saying, hey, we're learning here. So be gentle with us. Because that's always what I've done is, I'm teaching this person here, be gentle with them, be firm. If he's doing something wrong, let us know. And they've all done it. So.
That's fantastic. Hey, I hope that I get to actually be a part of this sometime, because I got to connect with you offline to figure out where these things are actually taking place, because I would love to be a part of them. I'm in the Northeast, but I would travel for these types of things because they're my type of thing. VATSIM itself is more interested in the controller side of things, to be honest. And they will look at the pilot side of things and say, we'll give it support and we'll provide you maybe the structure of how you can connect with these individuals, but that's it. On the controller side, we're very much more about, we'll provide the direct connections. And so, for instance, this event that's taking place in Minneapolis in June, July, VATSIM will have a heavy presence at it. They'll have the ability to work in directly with the controller side of it. But on the pilot side, they kind of provide the environment to say, here's our Discord. You guys can connect amongst yourself and kind of work things out. So yeah, I'm very curious to hear what you guys have been up to. It's not going to be like a VATSIM supported thing, but I think so for instance, our divisional teams, I'm with the Caribbean team. When we have things like this, where a pilot team or a team that is working on a goal that is outside of VATSIM, we have the ability to market it and talk about it on our team. Although I don't think VATSIM as a whole will ever directly support pilot initiatives.
You know,
so then then that brings another little thing is that I ride a motorcycle, and a lot of times I used to take it onto a track, and we used to break up the track into advanced riders and beginning riders just for the track. Has VATSIM looked at doing something like that, similar to in their airspaces? So, say Denver International Airport, since that's kind of the home airport, on Saturdays from noon to 4 is going to be beginner focused airspace to kind of help you get used to a larger Class B airspace. Um, but we're going to be a lot more forgiving and have the ability to have that conversation with the pilot on the radio saying, hey, calm down. You're doing this. Let's do it the correct way, and give them guidance and get their feet wet and help them feel better about being on the network and gaining that confidence. Have they looked into anything like that?
That'd be cool, Charlie. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I was just saying, would it be possible to have a sub-channel that such and such controller is going to say, okay, we're going to be giving training in this particular system of operation, this particular airport. We're going to have you guys do an hour-long flight from point A to point B, airport A to airport B, and this is going to be a training mission. I'm going to have you doing all types of headings, all types of altitudes. We're going to train you how to do this. Bring your particular airplane that is your favorite. But, we're going to do this. Even call it a VATSIM special event, maybe a train. Is that something that's feasible to look at?
I'll put it this way. VATSIM has not had this as their own initiative. Mm-hmm. But as the Caribbean division director, I'll say if this is something that you guys feel like you'd be willing to help us bring together, we'd be willing to support it in the Caribbean and say that we could do exactly what you're talking about. I can't speak for Denver. That's outside of my perspective. But if you wanted to bring in maybe San Juan, who has a lot of the same procedures, or if you wanted to bring in one of our Caribbean teams, I'm more than happy to arrange exactly what we're talking about. We could bring in a very beginner level event and have these folks do that. It is not a VATSIM directive. It's not a VATSIM initiative, but I think that folks like the three of us, for instance, could create it. I've got the air traffic control team that can support this. And you guys have maybe the ability to bring in those pilots who want to be a part of this. So,
yep.
No VATSIM initiatives, but we could create something like that.
That's definitely a great idea.
We'll keep up.
Yeah, and that's another reason that I wish Mike and CST could make it. We might want to bring this up a little bit.
No, I mean, if you guys are
too.
interested in it, mm-hmm. I will beat down their door. Don't get me wrong. There's a reason I'm the division director, and the reason is I love to send emails, and I love to get people involved in this type of thing.
This is a great idea. I mean, think about it this way: myself, Charlie 31, Mike. CST, for instance, of course, Mike has a real large followership, as does Owls. It might be a real interesting thing sometime for all of us to be live streaming at the same time for airport point A to point B and have a training event that a controller, like yourself or whoever would be on and would say, essentially, this is a training event, guys. I'm going to put you all in the air. I'm going to have you dodging and flying by each other, and then I'm going to bring you all into land wherever. And this is to help you practice and to kind of help teach you. And, great men and great people like Charlie 31 is a really good trainer. He keeps teaching me everything.
I will say this is important that we talk about it in this perspective, because if we had somebody just join into an event and try to start from fresh here, it's very frustrating for the controller who is trying to make an event of 50 people per minute move sometimes. And
Yeah.
it's very frustrating for the pilot who's, this is my first event. I'm just trying to do the best I can, man.
Yep.
But if we, have this type of event where I can work with individuals like the two of you, and I can work with Mike and Owls and say, hey, let's do some sort of beginner event. That's different, because immediately the controller is realizing that, hey, we're not trying to just get 50 people turned per minute. We're just trying to have this experience of people learning and people grasping the understanding of how to be a part of VATSIM and how to file flight plans. That takes this type of arrangement here to work.
Yeah,
it will not work with just you signing on at Denver during an event, unfortunately. And unfortunately, Denver does not have that in their repertoires, where they're trying to have these types of connection events. But working with a team like VAT USA, and I love to position us in VAT Car as wanting to do this, but I will say that I'm pretty sure if you were to reach out to the right team in VAT USA, they'd want to do this as well. It's just that since we're speaking, I know I can make it happen. But I also feel like if there's an individual in VAT USA, they'd want to do this as well, because we want to get those pilots on the next level. We know that it's very difficult for them to walk into an event and just be very overwhelmed with the event tasks and not understanding Squawky Mode Charlie and flight plans and everything else.
Yeah, and EJ, by all means, we understand that you're a VAT car, and we are okay with that. You're not speaking for everybody else in the VATSIM community, larger community. So yeah, we're not going to put you to task on any of that. We're just, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate having you on and just having this candid conversation. So yeah, we're all good there. Don't worry about that. But yeah, it'd be cool to maybe do some island hopping training and be able to get that. And it kind of brings on the other part of that question is, what do your controllers, what would your controllers learn from that type of event? Or what would you hope to gain from an event coming into your division and doing training? Just what would you see to get out of it?
Yeah, that's this is a good time for Owls or Mickey and Mike to be here, because they've had the experience of going through some of our Caribbean events, and I think they can answer pretty quickly about what's happened and what we'd like our controllers to learn. The long and short of it is that when these type of events happen, when your pilots are flying out of our facilities, we get the thing that we don't have too often in the Caribbean of having to make traffic blocks as to, okay, plane departed, we need 60 seconds behind that plane. Even in real life, this doesn't happen for these controllers. But in VATSIM, we need to do that so that there's enough place for these planes to be sequenced out of the departure airspace and then put en route to Miami, or put en route to these airspaces that we're working with on this particular event. So my hope is that our controllers have the experience of learning how to manage either departing or arriving traffic in the fashion that they don't necessarily always see it. They get a chance to work with the restriction process that we see when working with the United States. And then on the receiving end, we get the process of how do we get 50 planes into an airport that's designed for 15 planes and putting them on either a single runway or a runway that intersects. These things are such cool problems that we don't necessarily have in real life, but we address in VATSIM, and it's a fun challenge.
So does that excite your controllers when they get presented with that sort of thing? Good.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that the most fun one for them is when they get overwhelmed with the departure side of it. The arrival side is a little bit less fun because there literally is a point they're just like, disconnect, just disconnect because there's nothing we can do. But on the departure side, it's pretty fun for these guys to figure out how can we sequence this correctly.
Oh
Yeah.
man, can't even begin to imagine everything that you guys do, that a controller does. And it fascinates me too that there's so many controllers who do this in the real world, and then they come and volunteer their time on VATSIM. That really is extraordinary. How much of your population percentage of your group do you think are actually controllers in real life, EJ?
It's varied. We've had a lot of members who are now former. Actually, I would say that's the larger population of some of our leadership team are people that were formerly a part of controllers, and they've retired here. And interestingly, they are from the colonizing countries. So we have a few people who are from the UK, a few people who are from the Dutch, uh, from the Netherlands. We have a few people who are from the United States, and then they are now a part of VATCAR as that place where their colonies have established residence. So it's been very nice to have the support of some of our newer staff members, and this is something you'll see across anywhere in VAT USA and VAT CAR and VAT EUD, the European division. It really does change as to how long your staff members stay. We've had the privilege of seeing staff members stay a little bit longer than usual because they enjoy the experience there. I will say that you'll have to experience it for yourself.
Sure.
If you're ever trying to be a part of the staff teams, it's a lot of passion that's involved in this. It's a lot of love for your country, love for the division. I've been in my assignment for 6 years now. I don't see that very often.
Yeah.
It's just really hard to continue to be a part of these assignments. But our controllers, they come from all different airspaces, and they have loved being here for the time that they're here.
Sure, sure. I really appreciate all the hard work that, and there's so much behind the scenes in your organization that most of us never hear about. Guys, Charlie 31 is aboard. EJ Davis from the VATSIM Caribbean to Americas division, and so glad to have them here tonight. We were expecting Mickety Mike and Owls and CST to be here. CST said he would try to be here a little late. Don't know what happened to Mike, but that's okay. We'll continue on here. Let's. EJ, you told a story before we came on the air about flying to a special airport. Oh, here comes Sim CFI. All right. He's here. He dropped in. Tell me about your trip to Princess Juliana, IRL.
Oh, what a great airport to come into. It really was one of those experiences where I was just like, I've heard too much about it to not try it myself, right?
Right.
I flew in on a Airbus A319, and I learned something from American Airlines at this moment talking to the staff. So a 737-800, American Airlines' most common aircraft, doesn't fly into that airport.
Really?
It is all about but an A319 will, and the A21 the A321 Neo will fly into it, but the actual 737-800 does not.
Wow.
And talking to a pilot about it, there's a reason for that. The fuel situation, you have to have a certain amount of
Reserve? Is it
Extra
the
fuel.
reserve?
I guess it's reserve fuel that you need to have, but the 737-800 cannot fulfill that requirement.
Wow.
The MAX can, the 319 can, the 321neo can, but the 737-800 cannot. So I found that very interesting. Just all these different aircrafts that you're watching fly in there. I started to realize this is their perspective. So United flies in there. United flies a 757 in there.
Wow.
American and Delta fly in there. Delta flies the 757, and then American flies the 319. They fly the 737 MAX, but they do not fly the 738. I just find that that's a unique, interesting point that you would not find just.
Yeah. Charlie 31, did you have a comment on that? I thought I saw you look like you were about to say something.
No, I was EJ. One of the comments in the stream is with V Pilot and X Pilot, they've been experiencing some issues. How hands-on are you guys with pushing the developers to improve the client for VATSIM?
I think we've been pretty strong on it. Let's see if I can see the comment. Do they have particular
No, they're
issues?
looking to update the tools, and I mean,
so on the
it's
V-Pilot side, yeah, on the V-Pilot side, I'd say that they have been pretty proactive about trying to address things, and they might on the X-Pilot side. Unfortunately, I know less about the procedure there. I do know that on the user errors or the user reports that they give, they're pretty good about responding to them.
Are
random
they looking
disconnect
to do
issues? I see. Okay, so that's it might be about the times that this user is having them. We've had a lot of spam attacks recently where the server has had to, or us as a VATSIM team has had to decide to suspend IPs. Is this something that's happening with a user in Russia? It's been very common that in Eastern Europe and Russia, we've had to suspend accounts for a short period of time to make sure that they're legitimate. And we've especially had to pay understanding to the times where we've had these Middle Eastern concerns. The server gets rushed with all of these requests. We've had to suspend and just wait till we have a larger understanding what's a real request for the server.
Okay.
You know, let's see, there's CST. CST stopped in. Where'd CFI go? He must have had to drop out. You know, you had touched on earlier too, EJ, about, you know, what's going on in the Middle East. Of course, we have that situation is there. I was just wondering, you know, and what effect that kind of situation real in the world would have, you know, or would it at all? This is a hobby. This is certainly not a world event happening kind of thing necessarily, but yeah, what about what's going on in the Middle East, and how does that affect Flight Sim and VATSIM in particular? CST, welcome. Hello.
Yeah. Hey there, sir.
Go ahead, EJ.
I would say that is a really, really big thing right now, and I think we've seen a lot of effect from a lot of different teams. The long and short of it is that we want to make sure that we are being very politically neutral in a situation like that.
Right.
And when we see the traffic that's getting attracted to that area, we have a lot of users who decide to fly bomber planes. We have a lot of users that have decided to fly rescue flights from that area. You know, that's something that may be of interest to you to do offline.
Yeah.
But VATSIM in themselves, we're very, very concerned with making sure that we support a neutral situation. And we want to make sure that everybody is properly supported in this matter. And with users who are in that area, we want to make sure that they understand that they can express their feelings, but on VATSIM, it's not exactly the right place to do so. So everybody is very, very welcome to have their thoughts and express them, but on VATSIM, we're looking to try to provide the best neutral situation.
Well, and the bottom line of all of this, what we're doing is a hobby. We do this for fun. We don't do this for any other reason, hopefully, except for the fact that we enjoy and love what we're doing here. And we need to be simply respectful of everybody at all times. And, no matter of what political persuasion you may be and what you think about things, our hobby and the things that we do can bring us closer together and can bring us more into a community. Even, I think VATSIM does a great job of that. And frankly, I think all the flight simulation that I've seen so far, everybody from Island Sim Pilot to Charlie 31 to, Captain Canada to, even bring in CST Flight Deck. I mean, you gotta bring that gentleman in. We're all here to help each other out, to be as friendly as we possibly can be, maybe to state some opinions about something that are relevant to what it is that we're doing. But otherwise, we need to just remember that on the other side of the world lives a guy not so much unlike me. He's got a job to keep and bills to pay and a wife and family. And, we need to remember that, we need to pray for each other, and we need to really support each other in any way that we can. And in some places, we need to keep our mouths shut. And I hope that, the people who are utilizing VATSIM realize that that's not the time or place for it. So thanks for answering that question, EJ. I thought that was a worthwhile topic. CST Flight Deck, ladies and gentlemen, is aboard and in his command chair. Buddy, how are you? It's great to see you.
Recovering. I'm still coming back from a sickness. That's why I was contemplating whether or not I wanted to stop by. But here I am. My voice is coming back slowly, but supposedly I had bronchitis or something. I don't even remember the last time I had bronchitis, but I got it now.
So, I was a radio disc jockey for years and years and years, and whenever I would get that, it would always move down here. My voice would lower about 5 octaves, but it hurt to talk. So, yeah. It's good to see you. Good to see you. I know you were on a couple of times this week. I saw that you were streaming. I couldn't get to you, though, because I've been all over the place. But
struggling, but I was on. Yeah, but still, like I said, I'm much better than what I was. I was actually pretty bad with the cough and everything else.
Yeah.
It's getting better. It's getting there.
Very good. Charlie 31, any more questions for EJ regarding that? You got any more good stuff to throw our way?
No, I'm good for now. I think I've worn out worn out his eardrums for now.
Well, listen, let's do this for a minute. Let's have a little fun. Let's have a little fun with a topic that I call, what is your favorite airplane? What is your absolute favorite airplane that you're using? And I'll start us off. I have a real hard time with this. You know, my favorite airplane, I love the ones that I have to fly. I've got to get, I'm going to go ahead and get the PMDG 737-800 back for 2024. I have not been able to fly that. There's some liveries I want to use, some, you know, theme live streams I want to do. You know, I've got my Broncos livery that I had on my 737-800, and when football season rolls around, that's always fun. But I have a hard time pinning what is my favorite airplane, because really when it gets right down to it, I love them all. But I lean a little more Boeing. I have to admit, I probably lean a little more Boeing. So, Charlie 31, what are your thoughts on that, my friend?
Yeah, I'll
Same
tell
thing,
you what.
huh?
Right now, I'm having a lot of fun with the Blackbird simulations. Blackbird. I think we touched on it a little bit last time, but relearning all the analog gauges and just learning how to fly that airplane. I've probably listened to 150 hours of Brian Schul or Walt Watson or any of the other SR-71 drivers that have done a YouTube presentation or something from the Smithsonian. But yeah, just learning how to fly that airplane. My old reliable, sort of the glove that I always put on, is the 737. It's calm, or the 777, but it's calm. I can fly it. My landings have been suffering because I've been out experimenting with the SR-71. So I think I need to put a couple more hours on the 7.3 in. But right now it's the Blackbird, followed closely by the 7.3.
Okay. You know, I got to tell you too. Speaking of that, you know, I'm trying to learn to fly the CRJ, and I was really disappointed when that last sim update kind of mucked up the throttles. But now they've got one out, and I'm doing that again. And I got to tell you, that's a lot of fun. It's a little intensive, but I don't know. Maybe I can say that one is more or less my quote unquote favorite right now. CST, what about you, man? You know, what's your favorite airplane?
Well, I like Airbuses predominantly, but I fly,
yeah, you do.
Fly anything. And lately I've been on the X-Plane kick, so lots of X-Plane. I got all the Tola stuff and flight factors and the X-Craft. So I've been doing a lot of that lately.
Yeah.
Have you been in the 340? Did I see you in the 340 the other day?
340. I've flown both of those. The one on X-Plane and the one that recently came out on Microsoft by Tolis and Aerosoft. And I got to tell you, I'm extremely impressed by that aircraft. They knocked it out of the park. It's an old package. I mean, it's a complete aircraft. On release day, no issues whatsoever. No WASM crashes, no stuttering. It's optimal on performance. It looks good. It flies good. It does everything it's supposed to and more. So, you know, and Tolis came out too into the Microsoft arena, doing stuff on Microsoft that all these other developers have been telling us for years that it could not be done because of Microsoft limitations. So that's why I applaud and I welcome new developers into Microsoft, because those developers are going to be the one that are going to, you know, kick the other one in the butt and give them a little push to maybe try a little harder next time instead of saying, oh, it can't be done, right?
Yep.
Maybe give us a reworked aircraft from the ground up instead of copying and pasting it from Microsoft 2024 from 2020 and telling us that it's a brand new plane. Like we got, you know, stupid written on our foreheads. You know, that's the things that I don't appreciate. But I can really appreciate, first of all, Aerosoft recognizing their downfalls and bringing somebody like Tolis on board to be able to work together and help deliver a complete package like what they just did. And second of all, welcoming new developers into the arena to wake up that competition that's been stagnant because of companies like PMDG that have had the monopoly for so long. I think it's time for PMDG to step it up a little bit. I don't think they've been doing as much as they could, and that comes with complacency and thinking that you are the best when you always need to be watching your back, because you know what? Somebody's going to come out of left field and they're going to make you look stupid. And now what?
Yep, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, CST, absolutely right. You know, EJ, let's go ahead and move through this topic, and then that'll touch us on a couple of more. Your favorite airplane? What's your favorite aircraft to fly?
You know, last time we talked, I said it was the A350, and I'm not going to change my answer. I'm going to say that it has been so fun to fly that. It's not exactly the best in terms of simulation sometimes, but man, is it fun to fly as somebody who is not looking for the most realistic experience. I'm just looking for the most fun experience.
There you go.
That A350 has been that.
That has been that. Well, you guys are convincing me that I'm going to have to go that route. I've got a little laundry list, and unfortunately, it keeps getting bigger. You touched, EJ, on an event that's coming up in June. It's June the 11th through the 14th. CST, I know you're already ready to go, and that's going to be Flight Sim Expo. I am coming. As a matter of fact, my wife is coming with me, and she's going to go explore St. Paul and Minneapolis while
Awesome.
I'm in the expo. She's going to fly along and come out there with me. And Craig, I know you said you're not going to be able to probably make it this year. EJ, are you going to be there with the VATSIM folks?
I'm about 50-50. Don't know yet, but I will definitely let you know here in the next 30, 60 days.
That'll be great. That'll be great. VATSIM or Flight Sim Expo is coming up once again, June the 11th through the 14th in St. Paul's. So you can get your tickets online at the website. It's super easy to find. And hopefully we'll see your face in the place of CST. I am certainly looking forward to shaking your hand and you know, getting to have what we amateur radio operators call an eyeball QSO. So there you go. Craig, tell me what's going on. Let's see. I had a train of thought there and I totally lost it. It derailed. You know, you and I love to fly the simulator in the worst conditions possible. Just absolutely tell me what it is that you enjoy about that. We'll go around the group here. But what's your favorite conditions to fly in? I love it when you're above the clouds and everything's beautiful and gorgeous. And like the other night on Monday evening when I was flying into Seattle, it just got rotten all of a sudden going down through those clouds. And I thought this is going to be so much fun. What do you think?
It's when you're flying the approach, you're established on the approach, you're doing everything right. You just can't see that runway. You're hoping you see that runway, and before you get to minimums. And I mean, there's a guy on YouTube, Heli Chris Aviation. He flies helicopters out of Amsterdam out to the oil platforms out there. But he tells you that the go around or the missed approach should be the expectation. The exception should be the landing. And so that's the fun part about that. The really cruddy weather, because for the most part, we'll get up there. A lot of times we'll fight strong headwinds or something once we're above the clouds. But once you get back down into the weather sphere, coming out and going back into the clouds, seeing the ground and knowing you're close, checking your minimums, making sure you're ready for it, making sure you're ready for the landing, because you're already prepping for that go around. That's the fun. That is the rest of it's sort of routine flying, coming in on a severe clear day like we have here in Colorado. Let me stop that. I'm sorry about that. Coming in here on a severe clear day in Colorado, when you can see the runway from Pueblo or Albuquerque for the most part.
Right.
There's I mean, that's just a long straight in approach. So And this ties back into EJ is when you do have that controllers that's giving you the vectors around a storm or something like that, getting you sequenced in a long line of airplanes and hearing the couple go around because they never picked out the runway. I mean, that's flying. That's doing the fun stuff. It's less reliant on the automation in the aircraft and more on actually flying the aircraft.
Yep, absolutely. EJ, how about you? Favorite conditions to fly in?
You know, I have enjoyed being the passenger so long that I will say that it's great to be just fair weather all the time at this point. I'm really excited about the events that we have coming up here to see what these new developers are going to produce, though, because it's been a long time since I've seen a weather app or something weather related that I felt like was going to be interesting. Because Microsoft by default has done a lot better about this type of thing, but let's see what we can produce that gives us just a little bit more excitement about the internal radar system there.
Yeah.
I think that if you guys come down to the Caribbean ever, if you're flying here, you'll see what I mean. As a matter of fact, we had it just this week in the United States, and I felt like this is kind of what happens in the Caribbean, and it's fun to do if you guys fly down here. You'll really experience it because it's very frequent with the Caribbean that weather changes day by day.
Sure.
We just had a situation here in the United States where I woke up yesterday and I live in the Northeast. We don't have air conditioning in our houses because it's not usually cold enough to have air conditioning. So, I woke up, I was in sweats, right? And then by the end of the day, I'm freezing because it's 10 degrees. We have these situations at when you put into an aircraft scale, we have that as part of the weather that you'll deal with when you come into the United States. So it's cold and you have to deal with changes in temperatures, pressures. Let's have that on the scale of how you have to deal with it in the Caribbean, where things are not only changing temperature pressure wise, but also on the scale of humidity and other things like that. So I don't know. I feel like what we've got to look forward to in terms of our flight simulation weather prediction systems, we've got a lot that we can look forward to.
Yeah. Very good. That's going to touch me on another topic I want to ask about too, regarding weather and the simulator. CST, what's your favorite? Or actually, no, we did go over that with you. So sorry. I've also been trying to rest your voice a little bit. I'm trying to space things around here to where everybody can talk, and the longer you talk, EJ and Charlie 31, the longer he can rest his voice a minute, and then he can expound on the subject. So I want to touch on that a little bit. I'm super satisfied with the weather that we have in the simulator, getting the real world weather and so on and so forth. Or maybe I don't know that much. What do you guys think? CST?
There's nothing that you want out of the weather situations?
I like the real weather. Now, sometimes I have put fake weather in to have a little bit more of a challenge or something. I did that going into JFK here on a live stream not too long ago as well. It was just socked in all the way down to the runway. I barely had minimums. But, I lean towards more wanting to fly, what the real weather is at the time.
Oh, I meant, did you feel that the real weather was very close to real weather?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm noticing that, it seems, because I'll look at what the weather actually is, and when I flew into Seattle on my live stream on Wednesday night, the weather was that bad in Seattle in real life. As a matter of fact, a couple of my friends had gotten grounded at SeaTac because their flights got canceled due to the weather there. So yeah, I'm overall pretty happy with it. CST, what do you think?
Well, for what it is, I don't think it's bad. I think they do a pretty good job. It could be better. I think there could be a wider variety of clouds formation. I don't think there's enough in Microsoft 2024. But it's definitely an upgrade from 2020 for sure, because we do have more, the cumulus and all the other different clouds that form in the sky, where on 2020 it was just one type of cloud. That's it.
Yeah, right.
It was either that cloud or no clouds. In 2024, it got better, but it can always improve. Now, as far as trying to provide the closest match to the live weather, I think it does a pretty good job with its limitations, right? It might not be at the same time or whatever. I know that the servers are probably about an hour slower or something, so you technically getting the weather that was an hour ago, type deal, right? Sometimes I don't like the way it kind of updates the weather, where you have a cloud coverage and all of a sudden the cloud coverage just goes away. I wish they could implement a way to do it gradually. That way it just doesn't go away like in 2 seconds. But I don't know, maybe I'm asking for too much or whatever. But no, I don't have any issues with I think it's okay for what it is, right? For what we got.
Sure. Okay. Charlie 31. What do you think, my friend?
Like CST, I mean, for what we have, it's great. It's fun. It's fairly immersive. Can they make it better? I would hope so. Some of the cloud, diving through clouds and some of the sort of cloud surfing stuff and physics involved in water vapor in the air, I think they could work on a little bit. One of the things that kind of here in the northern hemisphere, when I fly in the middle of the summer, if I go down to like New Zealand, it's what I would expect the runway to be icy, isn't icy because I'm attached to the North America server, and it doesn't see that south of the equator is in winter, and you can reverse that. So when we're flying in winter here and you go down there, all the runways are covered in ice, even though it's severe, clear, and 90-degree day. So they've got some improvements that they can make, but it's just, I think it's a time thing. One of the Braniff sim pilots says active sky is a must. I haven't dabbled in active sky since several iterations ago. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. And Brandon, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about active sky being really, really a lot of fun. I'm super happy with it. Maybe I need to expand my horizons a little bit, as it were. Let me see if I can get this in on this camera. But I'm getting an airplane ready to fly later tonight. This is not going to be great video. My camera resolution is not that good for some reason. Even though it's a high-def camera, it's just not translating over. But, Craig, this looks like a Denver thunderstorm. This aircraft is sitting on the tarmac at Cairo. Here, let me bring my screen to full screen for everybody to see. And that looks like a Denver thunderstorm, and it has changed in the last 5 minutes that we were talking, because it had a sharp tail with a little curly Q up there, and it looked just like a real thunderstorm. And so all that being said, I'm super impressed with how well, obviously it's a great change over 2020. That's absolutely for sure. But and this thunderstorm, even just since I turned the camera now, it's got a couple of lowerings. It looks a little nasty, like it's going to drop something that's going to twirl around and cause people some problems. So who knows? Anyway, I really am super happy with 2024, it took me forever to go over to it CST, as you well know, because I kept saying for the longest time, I'm not going to change. It'll take me too long to get everything configured, and it did really take me about 2 weeks. And with Sim Update 5 Beta, I've been super pleased with how well that it's integrated. And on top of that, Sim CFI helped me with some video settings. And, oh, my God, the Sim is the least of my problem. Now, let's knock on wood and not, blow something up. But I'm super happy with it. Yeah, this thunderstorm is changing even as we speak here.
How about you, EJ?
Yeah, what do you think?
The weather systems or the particular?
Yeah. I mean, and actually that does bring a question to mind about VATSIM and integrating the weather. I guess, are you guys seeing radar? Do you vector airplanes around this stuff, all in that kind of thing?
We recommend always in these apps, even if you use Active Sky, it'll ask you the question of, do you want to use the weather data that is being imported to VATSIM? Because when you're on VATSIM, expect that the controllers have that standard weather that they are getting. And if your weather system, if Active Sky is telling you that the winds are very different direction, the controller is going to be like, cool, this is what my weather is, and this is what runway is active. So, if you're connected to VATSIM, make sure that your weather is in sync with the weather data that we get.
Yeah.
I think that there are a lot of cool apps there. There are a lot of cool directions that you can use to get some new weather predictions. I'm excited about a lot of them. Active Sky was a program that I've used for years. I haven't used it recently. I'm very curious as to what it looks like today. But 2024, the weather system in the native system has looked a lot better than what it used to look like when we weren't prepared and trying to change the system just for the sake of clouds and sake of wind data.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. I wanted to ask CST. CST, you got any more time to be involved with your build? Obviously, you've been sick for a little bit here, but how's the building of the Airbus cockpit going?
I haven't touched it since last time we spoke, to be quite honest with you guys. I did. I do have some other parts that a buddy of mine helped me by 3D printing, so I can move along with some more stuff.
Nice.
Create a cradle for the throttle itself, and I got another buddy of mine that's helping with. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I want to redo the center pedestal. So I'm in the process of accumulating the parts that we need, and then just going into the actual build and kind of redo the center pedestal itself. But in the states that as of right now, all I really would have to do is put the PC out there, hook it up, and fly it. It's flyable right now as it sits. I pretty much have all the parts. I think I'm only missing one radio panel for the FO side on the center pedestal, and I got everything else. It's a complete cockpit. So so yeah, it's just a matter of finalizing everything, cleaning the shop because it's a mess in there, as you may imagine. Making sawdust and everything else in between. So it needs to be cleaned, and all my tools that are in that shop need to get moved to the other garage. So all the tools are going to go out of there because that's going to turn into the main cave, flight sim room, whatever you want to call it. But that's what that's going to be. And since I'm doing word flight in there, I kind of want to make it like a small place for people to chill out, relax, maybe a little lounging area in there as well.
Sure.
With a TV or whatnot, and a mini fridge with some beers, sodas and stuff like that. So,
well, Craig and I want to ride the motorcycles out there, and when you get it all ready and you're doing world flight and you need a couple extra pilots or just a couple of somebody to hand you a beer over your shoulder, that'd be
sodas.
Soda. Okay. Yeah. There you go. You know, guys, I don't have a whole lot of other material. We can sit here and chat for a little while. We're about an hour and a half in. I don't necessarily have any more material that I had brought to talk about tonight. Want to thank everybody who's been in the chat. You know, like I said, I was hoping that Mike would be on tonight. He usually simulcasts us, and everybody gets a little more exposure that way and to the topics, and we can bring up some good ideas. And CST, you came in a little afterwards, but we were talking about everything from getting together a special VATSIM teaching people how to do stuff event to, of course, a little bit about just the overall workings of VATSIM. And let's see, Ian Crawford. Ian, hello. Let's see. Big time, it's those details that are making his build worth it. Oh, there you go. Yeah, absolutely. And CST, I can't wait to see it. You know, the other day you guys had some severe weather come through there. And I know that there was some pretty tornadic activity just northwest of the airport there. So I hope that wasn't anywhere near you.
It was about, I would say, about a mile away from me.
Oh, geez. Oh, man.
I got pretty good hailstorm and high winds.
Yeah.
But the tornado was actually south of me, so
okay.
It missed me. It missed me this time. Hopefully it'll miss me next time too. We'll see.
Do you have a shelter?
But, no, I plan to do what Lieutenant Dan did in Forrest Gump. We'll get on top of the roof and like, is this all you got? You know, that type of stuff.
I don't know, man. Remind me not to stand next to you when you do that. That's and you know, Charlie 31. I worry about you out there. You know, sometimes where you are, because it really fascinates me that they decided to build the Denver airport. Denver International Airport is built right in the convergence zones. I bet you've seen a ton of tornadoes. I've seen two out at the airport when the weather was bad, dancing across 3-4 right. I bet you've seen a few.
I've only had a couple come in on top of me, but we usually see them coming.
Yeah.
We got severe, I mean, it's clear out, so you can see.
Yeah, you can see for miles and miles out there.
I'll tell you this, I've never seen a tornado until I got to see one for the first time here in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And that was when I realized that I didn't want to see another one.
Yeah.
But I keep seeing the damn things. So, hey.
As long as you see them.
I'm getting used to it. I'm cool with getting used to it. I just don't want to get comfortable with them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have like a weather warning radio?
Oh, they're actually pretty good over here.
Yeah.
And when I say pretty good, I mean is they tend to make it worse than it really is. And I think it's by design, right? They want people to actually feel like they're more in danger than they really are, because you'd rather be safe than sorry, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they do have the weather guys here are really, really good at knowing. I mean, every time there's a storm, there's like 15 people chasing storms from all the different news. We got like 3 or 4 choppers up in the air, and you know the worst part is when it's at nighttime. Because you can't see.
Those are the ones that scare me.
That's that's when you got to rely on the actual person that's looking at the radar and knows what the hell he's looking at, right? Because if it's not for them, the guys out in the field, even though they're chasing it or whatever, if it's not for lightning strikes or whatever, they don't see anything. It's pitch black, pitch dark. You know? They don't see it until it's on top of them, you know?
Well, you know, you've got one of the most famous storm chasers of all, Reed Timmer, who does not live too terribly far from you. And it's funny because I passed him on the freeway over here in Denver one time when he was chasing chasing down here. Mike just sent a note here. Let's see. He has had something come up. It didn't stay up long enough for me to read it, but that's all right. We'll get back. We'll get him back in here on another one. So once again, guys, that's really it. I don't really have anything much else to do. I'm going to get the 777 Charlie here ready to go from Cairo to Hong Kong overnight, so that I can I started to say crash out the crew quarters, but we'll use another term other than that. But going to try to get a little flight in the air tonight for overnight, and then wake up in the morning and have my coffee and land it. What's going on with you in your world, and what's plans for Charlie 31 up here?
No, we're staying the course. Got to take care of Turtle, keep Alice entertained. So beyond that, try and squeeze in a couple flights. I'll probably try and take up the 777 and the 71 here tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night.
Okay. Yeah, I've got family coming in for a big all afternoon, evening thing tomorrow evening. So I'll try to catch back up with you there as soon as I can. And we'll do some stuff there. EJ, it has been an absolute delight, and I'm so glad that you popped up available this evening. And tell us what's going on in your world and what's next with everything you have going on.
Well, I would just say we'll watch out for what happens next. We've had cross the land events and cross the pond events that are pretty exciting. BATSM is restructuring those to be things that are less events per year and more focus on how can we make it better for the pilots, listening to everybody's feedback. So we're excited to have more pilot participation, but in the right way. Across the land, I've got CST and some other folks that I have as part of my VAC car community that are my preferred gamers. So we'll work with them on these CTL events, these cross the land events that we have coming up here. I hope that Captain Jack, we can get you guys and your community involved as well. We're really excited for September to be the new time for that.
Right on.
I think I'll have more time between now here in March and September to speak to you guys about it. So I'll pause on saying just that we're really excited to have some new stuff come up in September, and we look forward to having all of your communities participate a part of it.
Right on. Well, let me know when we can start promoting that. And as you know, in CST and Charlie 31, I like to promo whatever I can in my streams and let people know about it as best we can. So I appreciate that very much, and you keep in touch, and we'll do that. We'll do just another flight down the Caribbean here one night soon. What do you think?
Oh yeah,
any night. I'm ready for it.
All right. Well, I'll DM you there, and maybe we'll do that on purpose here. CST Flight Deck, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, the absolute astonishing. I'm just making stuff up. Anyway, well, so glad you could make it tonight, my friend. It's great to see you. Sorry you're not feeling quite so great, but what's happening on your channel and in your world when you get back to it?
Same old stuff. Nothing really different. I stream when I can. Pass time, have fun, or whatever, and I go through phases, right? I go through phases where I just don't want to stream, and I just don't stream.
Sure.
I just fly. I get on Discord and I fly with the buddies, and sometimes streaming it just burns you out. So I kind of take a break. Hopefully not. I don't take a break like I did last year. I took like a 3 months break one time.
Yeah. I remember.
But, sometimes it happens, man. It's just it's not my job. It's a hobby, and sometimes you just get tired of it. You will do different stuff, but right now I'm in the what I found for me works is trying out different things, right? So like I said, I reinstalled X-Plane because I've had some people telling me that it's getting a lot better with new updates and betas and all that good stuff. So reinstalled it, updated a bunch of planes that I've had. I got a lot of money put into X-Plane as well. So
yeah,
kind of sucks that I haven't been able to use it lately because of the state that it was in. But I'll tell you what, I even put a picture of one of the recent landings I just did in the 757 in the VC chat here on your VC chat there.
Okay.
And the lighting, I mean, the whole sim is looking phenomenal. I really do like it. But I guess what I'm trying to get to it is the something new with X-Plane is keeping me a little bit more engaged and wanting to fly more on X-Plane.
Sure.
So kind of switching back and forth between Microsoft and X-Plane is keeping me more motivated to fly sim and stream and do different stuff, right? Especially because, like I said, on X-Plane, I got some planes that I like to fly. You know, your 320 Neos and your 7.5, your 7.6, a legit Embraer E-Jet, right? Now we have the 145 as well, which is an amazing little airplane. So yeah, it's I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna keep doing that. I stream as often as I can, and hopefully here soon, after this cold snap that we're supposed to have again, it's supposed to be freezing again here next week.
Yep.
Hopefully we can get back out in the shop and finish that darn copy that I was hoping to get done 2 months ago, but life happens, I guess. But I got time. I'm not worried about it. The main thing is I want it to be done before World Flight, obviously.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to be done by then. So it is what it is.
Yep. And, you know, life happens, and there are things that are more important than the hobby, and I would always encourage everybody to make sure that, you know, you take care of priorities first. That has to happen. But I'll tell you what, this stuff is the most engaging and enthralling and embalming thing I've ever done. So I want to, boy, that just flew right past, didn't it? Okay, never mind. Remember the Three Stooges? You know, meeting the pretty girl, enraptured, engaged, and Curly goes, embalmed. You know, there you go. All right, very good, guys. Well, it's great to see you. Want to thank you so much for being here, for spending the time. EJ, you turn your camera off, but that's quite all right. Thanks for being here. You got something real life going on, so there you go. And, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll call it a night. Mike did touch base. David Landry says the visuals in X-Plane are getting impressive. And actually, this might keep us a minute. I loved X-Plane 11, to be honest with you. It was just, you know, the scenery. I think really when it got right down to it, the scenery, you know, with 2020, when it came out, it really grabbed my attention and took it. And then X-Plane 11 quit working. I couldn't get that to work even with a reinstall. Don't know why. Didn't go to X-Plane 12 because, you know, I got hooked by 2020. But CST, that's encouraging. You could maybe encourage me to try 12. So, and
well, I tell you what, man, it's not cheap. It's not cheap.
Okay,
So
David.
you're looking at X-Plane 12 plus an average of what, 80, 90 bucks a plane. It's it's not for the faint of heart.
Sure.
But hey, if you got money to throw away, let me know. I'll get you in it.
Okay. Well, I don't have that, but we'll go from there.
I got a code for you.
You got what?
We got a code for you.
Uh-oh.
What, an ATM code?
Let's see. CST, where did you send that picture? Where did you put it? Oh, your audio went away. Oh, what? Let me see. Is it
on
me?
this channel? On this VT channel, you can open up a chat on the right side.
Okay, let me see.
Upper right corner, Jack.
Where it says live sim flight deck.
I'm still learning how.
There's a little chat, open chat.
Oh, look at! Oh man, you are not kidding. Holy smokes, that is gorgeous. Can you guys see that yet? I can't feed it back down the line, but holy smokes, that is really. I mean, you can.
There you go, right there.
Yeah, you can even read. You can even read
there
the Louisville, Laminar Heights. You can even read the signs in the back there. That is just phenomenal. Holy smokes!
That's the 757 in Tampa.
Wow. And that's X-Plane.
Yeah, that's X-Plane.
Never seen X-Plane look that good. Holy cow. That is really amazing. Okay, well, good. We got that. Braniff, you are most welcome for the stream. Yoham, hello. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you in there. I'm sorry if you've missed the stream. We're about to wrap it up here. Once again, my good friend, Charlie31, man, I can't thank you enough. You have just been.
Thank you.
I am very, very blessed to have gotten to meet and know you. Really appreciate that.
Yep.
And
Thank you.
Alice did make a cameo appearance. As a matter of fact, is she behind you laying down back there?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. Alice made a cameo appearance. I saw her hop up on the couch there or whatever, and I presume Mr. Turtle's laying around there somewhere, huh?
Turtle's gnawing on a cow bone somewhere in the other office.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, thanks for being.
What is that? Is that a pillow with all of the different airline tails there?
That was a blanket. Those are all the airlines out of Denver.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
You know, I remember seeing that when I came over to visit you that day, but
it was like a Christmas gift.
That is cool. That's
a really cool Christmas gift.
My wife made me a quilt that I use on a cold, winter day watching a football game up on the couch, and it has all radio station T-shirt
nice
logos and things on it from when I was at those stations. All right, guys.
Gosh. Well, when I get married, I want to have wives like you guys here.
Well, I got her already, so she's out of the market. So there you go.
Yeah.
Now you'll find the perfect one the Lord has for you, I'm sure. So anyway, well, guys, thanks for being here. We'll be touching base. We're going to try to do at least one of these a month, and hopefully next month Mike can be here, and maybe Al's will touch in as well. But that's going to kind of wrap it up tonight. Do you guys have anything else before we go? Anything else you want to tell the world? Or at least 10 or 15 people?
Nah, I just appreciate you, Jack. Thanks for putting this on. CST, always good to see you. EJ, very nice to meet you. If you need something, let me know. Yeah, we'll see what we can do about getting some training stuff and involve the career VAC car community down there for you. So, yeah, appreciate you being here.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That's for sure. All right, any last words, guys? CST, EJ?
No, thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here.
I just want to say that it's really a pleasure to be a part of these chats here, and for exactly everything Charlie said there. If there's anything that we can work with our community on, this is like a really cool place to discuss it and hear if anybody wanted to comment and bring into the show their questions. And then to have stuff like what Charlie said in terms of like, hey, let's have a event where we can get pilot training and be more supportive of pilots. Hey, we would love to do that when we have an event like this. So, this is really cool for me as a part of our division team to hear that type of feedback. Really hope that if there are individuals who are kind of on the back and forth of, oh, should I ever be a part of VATSIM if it's too much, let this be an opportunity for you to express yourself and say, I want to be there. I just need that type of support from what we're talking about right here to do that. We want to support you in that type of goal. So, again, really excited to be a part of these little chats here. And I hope, Jack, that in the next one, we'll get to talk a little bit more about how we can either make it happen or how we made it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. EJ, we'll look forward to it. Like I said, you're in the member of the group there, so thanks for being here. Thanks for contacting me earlier today. It was perfect timing. All right, guys. Well, then I'll go ahead and take it here and wrap it up. Dear hearts rejoice and be exceedingly glad. We are through for the night. I don't have all the fancy stuff that Mickety Mike does, but want to thank 62 views tonight. That's great. 10 of you have kind of hung through the whole thing, and I really appreciate that. Haven't checked the amount of likes, but that's okay. That's not necessarily important. We want to invite you back for the next one. Keep looking for the announcements here on my channel. And be sure to get over to @GateC31, just like that, @Gate, GATEC 31 for Charlie 31's channel here. CST Flight Deck, of course, and you can find out all kinds of information on VATSIM simply by putting VATSIM into Google, and you'll find everything that you're going to want to know. And if we can ever be of service, let me know. So with that, from the virtual flight deck tonight on a Friday night, remember, Jesus loves you, and Cap Jack loves your show. And we will see you in the next one. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, guys.